Yeah, we're good. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Perfect. Good evening, hockey fans. Welcome inside the Gretzky Center here in Brantford. Big one in the standings race as we enter the final month of the regular season. Titans and Corvairs. I'm Alec Murray. Brantford in the 6th seed right now, up 3 points on the Caledonia Corvairs, who sit in the lone last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference in 8th spot. 2 big points up for grabs here tonight as it's fired right down on goal, starting goaltenders. We'll get into them. James Gall gets the nod for the Brantford Titans, and in the other one, it'll be Jacob Gibbons getting the nod for the Caledonia Corvairs, as that one's ripped on goal and gloved down by Gibbons, as these two teams quite the matchup here tonight on a Thursday. One of few games going on across the Greater Ontario Hockey League here tonight. Titans pregame honoring Ethan Zabo and Jack Panko, the former captain. Zabo last season led the league in scoring, winning the MVP. And Panko also back in attendance here. Zabo up with Wilfrid Laurier now and University Hockey. And Panko behind the bench for the AAA U16 Halton Hurricanes. As that'll be fired down into the corner. Corvairs quickly on it. They've kind of turned things around here since all of the changes that they have made, but still battling for that 8th seed in the playoffs as Lee heads in after it down in the corner. He's taken into the boards there by Watt. Played back up for Frank, and we got our first penalty coming here right away. Head contact's going to be the call, and it's going to be on Brantford. Little extra spice in this one. Ty McCutcheon, he's already played against Caledonia, but their former captain, now with Brantford, of course, Jake McNeil, now the GM here with the Brantford Titans. After being let go earlier on in the season, you know, this game has a little extra spice to it here tonight for both teams. Not a great start for Brantford as Watt's going to go for head contact, and Caledonia is going to go to the power play. Off the face-off, it'll be one back to Stiers. Kane Stiers will work it to the half wall. Liam Kerr, former Meteor, works it back up top. He was traded to Caledonia at the deadline as well. One of many changes the Corvairs made at the deadline. And it'll be cleared out and worked down the ice. Worked out front. It'll be picked off there by the Titans, and they'll fire it down the ice. 1 minute to go in the power play. Played out at center. It'll be picked up by the Corvairs. Back in is Russell as he had his pocket picked, and it's fired back out at center. 40 seconds remaining in the minor. Watt will sit for 10. Early power play here for the Corvairs is Varga. Sends it back at center. Here's Quick. He's going to play a ton of minutes tonight for Caledonia. Quick, back for Osborne, and it's cleared out of the zone. Great stick there from the captain, Stippen. 20 seconds to go as it's worked back down the ice for the Corvairs. At the blue line, Stippen. It'll be fired in. Battle for it down low. Papel all over it in the corner. He gets taken into the boards. One notable absence for Brantford. Ryan Scriven out of the lineup here tonight. So the assistant captain not in for Brantford. As that pass will be picked off by Crowell at center. Penalty over. Back to 5-on-5 hockey here in the first period as Brantford killed the first one off. Here's Frank into the zone. What a move. Frank couldn't get a shot off as he was hacked down into the corner. Caleb Frank down in a hunch in the corner. He's slow to get back up as Strauss will fire it into the far side. Ty McCutcheon back in behind the net. Frank slow to get back up, makes his way to the Brantford bench, hunched over. Back up top to the point. Caledonia holds the zone. Here comes a drive. That one is kicked wide of the goal. Clark misfired it. Strauss back across out front. Nobody home for the Corvairs. McNamara plays it. Ty McCutcheon picks it up, and he'll play it in behind the net. McCutcheon. Brantford having trouble out of their own zone as Christie now able to get it out at center, and here goes Gavin Christie for McCutcheon into the zone onside. McCutcheon skips it back out front, looking for a tip, and it was just out of the reach. Lee back up at center. Brody Lee across the blue line. He started the season in Milton with the Menace in the OJHL. Back to Caledonia at the trade deadline. Nice little addition for them in their top line. Up top to the point, that shot flutters wide. Down below the goal line, trying to work that puck free. Pass across the middle of the ice is tipped out of the zone by Ty McCutcheon, and it's out at center. Wicklander knocks it down for Kim LeMay. Kim LeMay will flip it by Gallo into the zone. Corvairs all over it down low. Jake Russell plays it around the far side, but not out. Russell's got it back again in his own zone. Corvairs wearing those white with the baby blue trim here on the road. It'll be Brantford in their home blacks with gold trim. As Kim LeMay will turn it back at the blue line. 5 minutes gone here in this period. As Quinton Kim LeMay will work it in deep. Strauss in behind his own goal. Look out, what a deflection out front. And that puck dropped in the slot, but it's cleared out by the Corvairs. Fired down the ice. Icing will be waved off as Gibbons, or Gall rather, went to play the puck. So play will continue up onto the far side as Caden Wicklander. Wicklander down the left wing, fires a shot on. Gibbons the save. He was handcuffed momentarily, and we got a little bit of a scrum out front of the Caledonia net as Gibbons is able to find a loose puck and cover for a faceoff. Played up on the near side. Tight angle is shot right on. Is gobbled up there by Gibbons. Faceoff will be to the left of Gibbons. Off the draw, it'll be picked up. Onto the far side and out at center. Knocked down in the neutral zone is Stiers, but he's back in his own zone. Butcher will start back out as well as he's after it. Flipped down in. Bandu back for the Brantford Titans in his own zone. Still scoreless early on here, just joining us. Played off the far side boards, and here come the Titans back through the neutral zone. Capel couldn't collect that pass as it's down the ice, and that is going to be icing on Brantford. Off the face-off, it comes out of the zone at center. Picked off, back the other way. Here come the Titans. That pass from Bandu in behind the intended target. And we get a whistle here as Inzers is thrown into the boards and a hand pass. Off the face-off, one back to the blue line. Christie. Back up top, that shot dribbles wide of the net. To the near side corner. Back around to the far side. Frank has it up top of the blue line. Frank across the slot, now to the near side wing. He'll work it back up top, and it'll be picked up here by Hobson. Hobson back the other way, looking for Osborne into the zone. No, he's going to slap it in. They're going to have to retreat and get back on side. Osborne named the captain for the second half of the season by Caledonia when McCutcheon was dealt here to Brantford, and we get a whistle offside. Titans with 12:57 to go here in the first period. Face-off coming just outside the offensive blue line. Mark Corbett now behind the bench for Caledonia. Hired halfway through the season, trying to turn this ship around. As here's Lead at center. He'll knock it down into the zone. Lead on it in the end boards, taken in there. Ryan Chamberlain able to free it up. He'll work it for Christie. And Gavin Christie will fire it all the way around to the near side boards. Chamberlain plays it back in deep. Battle for it. Russell back around to the far side, and Caledonia will settle it down and get it back out at center. Brody Lee handcuffed there in the neutral zone. Back for Christie. Christie to Buckman. As it'll be ripped down in. Gibbons will steer that to the corner as Brantford will make changes. Lee back across the offensive blue line amongst three Titans. Spun it back out front. Nobody there for Caledonia as it's back out at center. Lee in the neutral zone. Flips it over for Gallo. Caledonia finishing those changes up as they've got it deep in the Brantford zone. Centering pass out front. All alone. What a save! Oh my goodness! James Gall, a highway robbery out front with a left hand, and he keeps it scoreless. What a find out front by the Corvairs, and James Gall says, hold this, as he keeps it zeros. Tipped out through center, back down the ice. Varga, back for Caledonia. Strauss. Back up on the near side, McNamara. He gets knocked down as Caledonia forces it back into the Brantford zone. Not for long as they'll carry it out through center. Clark heads in after it, former Corvair as well. Loose puck will be picked up. Spun back into the zone and out through center. As Glowacki gets it down the ice. Varga. Knuckle puck up through center. Knocked down by the Corvairs. Here's De Silva back in. Tried to knife it for Strauss. That didn't work. It was picked off. And here go the Titans back the other way. McCutcheon feeds it in for Kim LeMay to the backhand. He tried to go over the shoulder of Gibbons, and he just missed high. All the way back on the half wall, trying to work that puck free. It'll be brought out here by Strauss. Strauss to the far side once again. Mulholland, got to go back for it. He'll chip it off the boards and out. Lee on the far side. They'll work it in, but offside, so Caledonia's got to retreat. Kerr in on the forecheck, can't get to it. It'll be chipped over at center. Here they come. Brantford, Papel into the slot. There's a drive. Bobbled on net. Gibbons the save. Rebound, and he got the right pad down on it to keep it out. So both goaltenders have a good save here in this one as we hit the 10-minute mark of the first. Fired right back into the zone. Corvairs, wholesale changes as Brantford will wait with Buckman. Buckman, he'll connect on the far side as Matthew Unel skated up. Chamberlain gets around his man in behind the Corvair goal. Chamberlain wiped out there. Still in a battle for it. In the Caledonia zone, Stippen on it for Brantford on the half wall. The captain gets it back up top to the point, held in by Bandu. Kerr trying to work that puck free. Couldn't. And now Caledonia will settle it down, and they'll flip it out. Hobson gets it out. Brantford. Got to get back on side. They'll hit it on the near side, and here they come. Frank will flip it in. Takis. Stippen in the end boards, lays a big hit as it's back to the blue line. Takis fires a shot, dribbles through. Stippen out front. Gibbons the save. Point blank opportunity for Stippen, and he's denied by Gibbons. They work it back down low for Capel. He'll work it back up to Bandu. D to D. Takis skips it down. Tipped on goal. They score! Oh my, Adam Stippen. That was beautiful. And it's 1-0 Titans as they strike first with a gorgeous goal from the captain. One of the nicest goals you're going to see in a long time. Stippen down on the goal line almost. Able to tip it over the shoulder of Gibbons. And Brantford is on the board first. Here they come. It's Gallo back the other way down the left side to the middle. Gallo tried to chip it over the shoulder of goal, but he sent it high. Here they come again. There's a shot and they score! Caleb Franco's bunk. 2-0 Brantford. What a start for the black and gold here on a Thursday night at the Gretzky Center. What a start for the Titans as they're back into the zone. That one's picked off and flipped by out at center. Osborne tried to chip it around Buckman, but a good defensive play by the youngster. David Buckman tied up on the near side. Hobson able to free it up. Christie, knuckle puck, couldn't get it out. Quick, chops one on goal. Save made, down is goal, and he's able to kick it to the corner. Crowell back out front. That's off a skate of Hobson to the corner. Caledonia looking to answer as Christie blocks that one, and now they're trying to send Kim LeMay down the near side. Here's Quentin Kim LeMay. Kim LeMay unable to center it as Caledonia gets it back out through the neutral zone and back for Takis. Caledonia will move it back through center. Here's Strauss. He fires it in. Gall out to play, and he'll send it around to the corner. And it's collected there by Capel. Trying to free that puck up, but he turned it over. Strauss knifes it in. Davies back up top. Bouncing puck. Bandu couldn't clear it. Strauss for Davies. Here's Davies. His shot right on in goal. Able to pounce and cover. Faceoff coming down to the left to the goaltender, Gull. Up top, here's a shot right on. And all the way from the blue line, gobbled up there by James Gull. On the near side, it'll be worked back. Russell throws one on goal. Deflected last moment, just wide. Oon trying to clear the zone, down in the battle in the corner. Cage Butcher gets it out at center. Here's Papel after it. Down the near side wing. Turn it over, centering pass out front. Chamberlain, and it's off his skate. Chamberlain back on the half wall. Able to hold the zone momentarily. Now he picks it up. Here's Chamberlain. Fires his shot. Gibbons is down. He's got it under him, and he hangs on. .5:53 to go here in the first period. Quick moving first period, and the Titans a 2-0 lead over Caledonia here. Face-off will be to the right of Gibbons. Next stoppage here, we'll go around the out-of-town scoreboard across the Greater Ontario Hockey League as that's played back in. Bandu after it. Bandu able to poke it out at center. Hopped over the stick of Capel, and Caledonia will tip it back. And it's up into the Brantford bench. Out-of-town scoreboard. Let's take a look around the Greater Ontario Hockey League. 3 other games, going on right now. Cambridge a 1-0 lead over the Air Centennials. That came in the first period with 6 minutes left. Kyler Morgan, his 17th of the season, has the Redhawks on top. Hamilton, a 1-0 lead over the Port Colborne Sailors with 5 minutes to go in the first period. It's Gavin McAfee, Rankin's 5th of the season, gets Hamilton on the board. And halfway through the first period in Sarnia, Legionnaire watch, if you will, Sarnia and London are scoreless. Corvairs will work it onto the near side corner, and they'll start the breakout with Lee. Try to shovel it up. He was looking forward to Silva, couldn't connect with him. Steers after it at center two. Inzer's able to find the loose puck, and he'll work it to the far side. David Buckman wires it wide of the goal. Brantford there to make changes as Caledonia will start out of their own zone. Can't grab that puck, and it's whacked out by Christie. Gallo gets tied up by Clark. There's David Buckman, and he'll go for a skate at center. Buckman into the slot. Caleb Frank, a shot deflected just wide. Centering pass back out front, and it never got to the front of the goal. Up top, high slot. Christie a drive. Turned aside by Gibbons. Brantford swarming here. Here's Caleb Frank. Another drive right on, and the glove save is made by Jacob Gibbons with 4:25 to go in the first. Shots on goal here in the first period, 12-5 in favor of Brantford. We mentioned Brantford coming off a tough weekend last weekend, looking to rebound here this weekend in a tight race at the bottom of the division in the Eastern Conference. 3 points up on that 6th seed they are. Ayr and Caledonia both chasing them. Ayr is playing Cambridge tonight, and they're already down 1-0. Caleb Frank dips around, gets hauled down. There's a penalty coming. And Brantford's going to head to the power play here with 4 minutes and change to go in this first period and look to extend their 2-0 lead here. Looks like it's Hayden Mulholland getting hauled off for the trip. And here go the Titans to the power play. So Caledonia 0 for 1 of the power play already here tonight, and Brantford gets their first look at the man advantage. They win the face-off back up top. Takis going to go to Frank on the far dot. Caleb Frank, nice move, lets it fly. Gibbons fights it off. Back up top to the point. They'll sling it to the near side. McCutcheon fires a shot. That's driven high, all the way back around to the far point. Takis for Frank. That's where he likes to shoot it from, Caleb Frank. He'll hover around the area and dump it back down low. Return pass back. He's going to get a run at this one. Fires it just high. Gibbons didn't see it. And it's all the way back around and down the ice. Clean entry, Brantford. Frank will drop it off on the far side to Clark. Back for Caleb Frank. Frank, drop pass. Skating in. Takis down low. Gets a return feed in the slot. Osborne got a stick on it. Can't clear it though. McCutcheon holds the zone. McCutcheon for Watt down low, skips it to the far corner, and Frank. 3 minutes to go in the period, 55 seconds to go in the power play for Brantford. Takis for Frank. Frank poked off his stick, 21st of the season already here in this first period. Takis looking for a lane. Frank gonna tee one up, but he fanned on it. Off the heel of his stick, Caledonia can't clear. Tired group out there for the Corvairs. Brantford holding the pressure on here. Alan Waddle skated back up top to the point. He tried to take on two Corvairs. McCutcheon tap pass. Frank wasn't ready. Here's Clark down low, tried to go upstairs, and it's up and out of play with 25 seconds to go. So good puck movement on the power play. Brantford just unable to get one by Jacob Gibbons. And Ty McCutcheon mixing it up down low with his former teammate. Faceoff will come to the right of Gibbons. Faceoff tied up at the far dot. Caledonia, it'll come to them, and they'll clear it down the ice as Jake Russell sends it down, and 10 seconds to go here in the power play. Brantford, one last rush for David Buckman if he hurries. Off for Kim LeMay. Kim LeMay try to go back out front, tipped on goal. Look out, it hit him. Down is Gibbons. No whistle yet, and finally we get a whistle as Gibbons, it went off his leg and trickled in behind, and he's able to fall back on top of it with 4 seconds to go on the power play. Jacob Gibbons, the 06 netminder for Caledonia, has been around a little bit the last couple of years. Faceoff will be to the right of him. Played U16 in Markham. 5 games in Erie. Back to North York in the OJHL. Back with Erie for 20 games in 2023-24. Traded to the Brampton Steelheads, then the Elmira Sugar Kings last year. And now one start with the Brooks Bandits this season. Elmira and now Caledonia. And he's found a home here with the Corvairs as that one is gobbled up. Interesting to mention that one game in Brooks. All the way up there, he came in relief for 10 minutes. 1,000 save percentage in the BCHL with the Bandits for Jacob Gibbons. Didn't allow a goal as that one from the point is snatched up and hung on to. Face-off win, Brantford back to the point. Buckman misfired on the pass, quick all over it in the corner. Candle it. Out at center. Christie, look out. His quick was right there. Had to hop around him. Bump back into the Brantford zone. Loose puck out at center. Whacking at it is Wicklander, and he's got it. Wicklander will curl back into the Brantford zone. Takes a return feed from Christie. Drops it back there, Buckman. Chopped down. Icing will be waved off as Jake Russell back for it. Russell turns it over. Here's Wicklander. Tight angle shot. Missed on the short side. Buckman's got it back up top. Gavin Christie skating in. Shovels it down low. Work it in behind for Papel. He gets pinned in. Quick. He'll pull it out for Caledonia. Here come the Titans back the other way. Wicklander a shot. Fought off there by Gibbons. Rebound lays out front. Quick. Able to pick it out for Lee. Lee at center. Trying to work by Bandu. That didn't work. He'll go into the corner after it. 40 seconds to go. Out front. Kerr was tied up. Back to the point. Here's a drive. Deflected wide of the goal. Caledonia trying to cut the lead in half before the end of the first period. Here's Gallo back up top. Whiffed on the shot. Papel will feed it out for Chamberlain at center. And here goes Chamberlain back the other way. Matthew Oon couldn't hold the zone. Gallo will fight it back in. Bandu He's going to pin that puck into the corner with 10 seconds to go in the period. Bandu just trying to soak the remaining seconds here in this first. As time will continue to tick down, battle for it in behind the Brantford net. Gallo trying to poke it free. They finally do get it free right on goal at the last minute. Kerr, a late shot, and Oon doesn't like that. He's got a partner. Papple's got a hang of somebody in there as well. It's Kerr. The last whack on James Gull, and the Titans did not like that whatsoever. As Papple's got to be dragged out. And that will spell an exciting end to the first period and the best period Brantford's had in a little bit. 2 goals for the Titans as they come flying out of the gates here against the Caledonia Corvairs. Trying to stay on to that 6 seed is Brantford, back end of this regular season. Titans up 2-0 lead and capped off there by Kettle Frank's 21st of the season. We'll step aside here in the first intermission at the Gretzky Center in Brantford, and we'll be back for period number 2 here in Brantford. 2-0, Titans on top of Caledonia. Welcome back, fans, inside the Gretzky Center here in Brantford. Thursday night hockey in the Greater Ontario Hockey League. Alec Murray with you, filling in for Reese Dumani. Titans and Corvairs. Second period, moments away, 2-0. As Brantford has the early lead in this one. And the early momentum swing, trying to pad that lead in sixth place to 5 points. Cali can cut it to 1 if they can come back and win this one here on the road. Opening faceoff, second period, and we're underway as David Buckman back in his own zone. He's got a Wicklander down the wing. Wicklander a shot. That one's fought off by Gibbons. Quick, back across the blue line, trying to spin it back for Osborne. It was knocked down by Wicklander, turned over. Here they are out front between the legs. What a save by James Gall. He's had a couple nice ones here, and he opens the second with one. Stiers collects a bobbling puck, fires a shot. It's off a leg, and they score! Out front, it was Ethan Osborne who was parked. The rebound came off Gall and hit Osborne. It ends up in the back of the net, and the Corvair captain. 38 seconds in. Cuts the lead in half. It's 2-1. What a start to the second for the Corvairs. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Caledonia here. If there has been one kryptonite for the Titans this season, it's been their inability to hold leads. Spun back down low. Last weekend, they had a 2-0 lead over Ayr. Lost that one in regulation 4-2. Up top, there's a shot that was driven wide of the net. Another one comes back out front. Caledonia swarming again down in the offensive zone. Back up top, that one on, and Gall able to cover. Battle for it in the neutral zone. It'll be sent right back in by Caledonia as Gage Butcher gets it deep. Titans having trouble getting out of their own zone here early on in this period. As Stippen now works it out through center. Enters onto the far side as that one's going to deflect off a stick. Up and out of play into the mesh. And we get a face-off down inside the Caledonia zone. Face-off will come to the left of Gibbons. Corvairs have it off the draw. It's Kerr working it out at center. Pass picked off. Buckman. He'll rip it right back in. All the way around, trying to clear the zone behind. That doesn't work. Kerr a battle for it at the blue line. He couldn't get it by his man. And here come the Titans. They got a 2-on-1. Christie couldn't get it across, and Caledonia able to get back and set. Christie for Stippen. Stippen back down into the corner, trying to center it out front. Now carries it in behind the goal. He'll work it back up top for Buckman. Buckman swings it far side. Christie going to wind one up and fire right on. Traffic out front, but Gibbons is down, and he's got it. Off the face-off, it'll be won back by the Titans. That one fluttered wide. Davies has it down low around to the far boards. It'll be picked up at the corner and fired out at center. Strauss was tied up back the other way, and Chamberlain will turn it back up. Papel looking for Chamberlain on the return feed. He was tied up into the board. Strauss back in behind the goal, chops it back out front. It helped over the stick. Back to the point. Bandu. Tap past Glowacki. Glowacki, a quick shot. And again, there to the task is Jacob Gibbons. Off the face-off, it'll be one back by the Caledonia Corvairs. They'll get it out with Russell at center. Braden Hobson, and it will be fired at a play. Off the face-off. Back to the point. Buckman a drive. It's tipped on goal. Save made there by Gibbons. Battle for it back in the corner. Buckman gets it. Walks the blue line. Christie back for Buckman. Buckman was tied up top by Osborne. And now a loose puck will be picked up by Wicklander in the zone. Wicklander centering pass out front. And it's fanned on. Buckman throws it to the far boards. Gathered into the zone. Here's Wicklander spinning away from a man. He's hauled down. Penalty coming to Caledonia. Brantford's going to go back to the power play here. 4 minutes into this second period. Now up only by 1 and 2-1. Out-of-town scoreboard. Periodically, we're going to keep an eye on this Air Centennial Cambridge Red Hawk game that is also in the second period. As Sam Savary's got his 26th of the season, 2-0 Cambridge on top of the Air Centennials. And London, Max Muse and Nate Adams on the board as the Sarnia watch continues. 0-41. London trying to send them to 0-42 tonight, and they're already up 2. Sarnia, after tonight, only 8 games left on the season. Into the zone. It's poked off the stick of Gavin Christie, and it'll be fired out and down the ice by Caledonia. Back into the zone. Weaving Buckman the shot. Tried to go back onto the far side. Sent it just wide. Brantford gets back set up. On the far boards up to the point. Here's Buckman. Near side. One-timer. Christie off the side of the goal. Buckman back at the blue line for Christie. Christie down low along the goal line. A centering pass up top. Chamberlain, and it bounced over his stick. And it'll be cleared by Butcher. Chamberlain will drop it back with 50 seconds to work in the power play. Watt couldn't get into the zone. He's got Takis instead. Takis out of the far boards, and they'll work it in for Kraut. Back up top, it's held in. McCutcheon. He'll walk the blue line, shakes to Silva. Takis up top for McCutcheon. McCutcheon's got some space. He'll walk in and fire a shot, and he just missed short side. All the way around and back down the ice. Maybe one more rush here with 20 ticks to go in the power play for Brantford. Takis drops it back for McCutcheon. Tap pass out of the far side. They're back into the zone. Looking for Frank, who was headed to the goal. It was turned back by Caledonia, and that'll do it for the power play. Russell set to hop out of the box, and we're back to even strength 5-on-5 here in the second. Frank up on the far boards. Clark has the double take back in his own zone and gather possession. Connor Clark, nice move through center across the Titan logo. In the blue line, Clark still with it. What a move in on goal! And he's shut down by Gibbons. What a solo effort by Connor Clark. Just couldn't beat the goaltender Gibbons with 13:50 left in the second. Face-off will come to the right of Gibbons. Off the face-off, Titans have it. Glowacki sends it down low. Varga lost his man. Kim LeMay comes away with the puck in the corner, back up top to the point. Bandu, he'll let it fly, topped out front. And Clark sent it just wide. Quick has it in his own zone. He'll throw it out at center. Picked right off immediately. Brantford's in on side. Kim LeMay. He'll just rim it in deep. Left there for Wicklander. Little jab pass back to the point. It's held in by Bandu. Bandu back for Wicklander. He's in the high slot. Here's Wicklander's drive. That's off the skate of Osborne. Back out front. Loose puck. In the slot, a shot. And it's off a stick high. Onto the half wall. It's Wicklander. Back to the point. Glowacki a drive. And right on, drifting to the near side. And able to hang on is Jacob Gibbons. Approaching the midway point of this hockey game. Expecting a tight one between these two teams battling for playoff positioning. Off the face-off, it'll be picked up McNamara. Back for Russell. Russell will work it up for Davies. He's at center. Battle for it down low. McNamara trying to work that puck free. A centering pass up top. And it's picked off there by the captain, Stippen. He's back the other way. Capel fires it off the end boards. He's the first man onto it. Back up top to David Buckman. Buckman holds onto it. Back for Capel. Capel plays it around for Stippen. Stippen to the point. Quick snapshot on goal. It was tipped just wide. Onto the half boards. It's played high off the glass back up top. Capel at the point to hold it in. Stippen. Back on it to the half boards. Adam Stippen will drop it off for Christie. He makes a move in deep. Back up top. Tons of ice. There's a quick shot through. Gibbons the save. Rebound. He got that one too. And Caledonia finally able to clear it out at center. As Davies will skate it in. He'll fire it down. And Caledonia much needed change here. Buckman. He levels his man in his own zone. Big hit by David Buckman. Christie going for one now. He missed. Here's Lee. Lee, drop pass. Quick snapshot. Call the save. Another big hit on the far boards. That Christie that time. The two young Bulldogs playing their weight around here in this second period as it's out at center. Mulholland plays it back in his own zone. Aiden Crowell works it up top. Here's Elite to the backhand. Out front, couldn't get it into the slot, and it's a 2-on-1 back the other way for Brantford. Could be a 3-on-1. Connor Clark's got Frank with him. Clark to Frank. Frank in on goal. Gibbons the save. He trying to pick the 5-hole, and Jacob Gibbons swirling his way back to the far post, able to keep it out. Gallo now out of his own zone. Gallo for De Silva. He'll tip it in. Corvairs get changes up front. So there's Varga and Kerr onto the ice with Butcher. Here's Clark again. Clark down the right wing. Back out front for McCutcheon, who runs over his goaltender. And now Stiers is pushing McCutcheon into the back of the Caledonia net. Penalty coming to Stiers as McCutcheon is now down in behind Gibbons. 3 whacks from Stiers on McCutcheon in the blue paint. Ty McCutcheon ends up on his backside across the goal line. And Brantford's going back to the power play here in the second period. Off the face-off, it's one back. Varga Tyler Clark takes him into the boards. It's played around back up top, just held there by Buckman. Brantford will get set up, looking to restore that 2-goal lead they had in the first. Kim LeMay on goal. It was tipped wide. Backdoor pass out front. Kim LeMay out. Able to reach on it. He gets hammered in by Varga. Able to get it down low to Clark. Clark in the slot. There's a drive, Buckman, and it's fought off by Gibbons. Back onto the end boards, picked up by Varga. And Varga will take his time and get it down the ice. Kerr in short-handed. He'll fire a shot that was blocked by Buckman. Rebound out in the slot. Backhand drive on goal. Goal to save. Caledonia gets a change off. Meanwhile, it's Buckman. Return feed back in on tight. Off a skate out front. Gibbons the save. Jump back to the point. 60 seconds to go on the power play. Here's Buckman. Buckman. Kim LeMay. Kim LeMay to the near side. There's a Wicklander drive, and it's off the side of the goal. Back up top. Gibbons was down and out, but he's able to reset. Christie. Near side circle. He'll spin it back. Gavin Christie drops for Buckman. Buckman into the slot. Loose puck. Gibbons swipes at it. Still loose. It's going to be fired up and out at center with 30 seconds to go on the power play. Action all over around the Caledonia net. Brantford unable to bury one just yet. Wicklander takes a bump but holds it in. Takis back across for Kim LeMay. It was tipped just wide. Papel with 20 seconds to go, back for Takis. Takis, Kim LeMay decides to fire a shot. It hit a body. Takis, 10 seconds to go in the power play. Kim LeMay gonna skate in on the far side, let it rip. Pad save made Gibbons. Loose puck up top, and it could be a breakaway. Here goes Russell, shorthanded. Russell looking to tie it right on, and Gall makes the save and hangs on. Braden Russell, a chance to tie this game at the 8:30 mark of the second period. James Gall comes up big for Brantford at the end of the power play, and it stays 2-1. Faceoff will come to the right of Gall. Off the draw, it'll be tied up, but Brantford able to bring it out. Here's Chamberlain. Chamberlain weaving to the near side. He's got Oon to the goal. Chamberlain, a shot. Kicked out by, once again, Gibbons. Gallo up for Lee. Lee back the other way. Tried to dance through into the slot. Bumped off his stick. That one came on goal. Save made Gall. 8 minutes to play here in the second period. 2-1 game. Caledonia. Look out as that one played in behind the net. Now on top of the Brantford net. Corvairs striking in the first minute of this second period. Nothing since then from either team. Lots of chances, though. Here they come. That one sifted on goal. Gibbons will steer it to the corner. Papel. Back on it. He's got it in the corner. Brantford sets back up in the zone. Papel goes for Oon. Shadowed there by Gallo. Takis, D to D. Here's a drive coming through. Never got to Gibbons. It was blocked out front. Takis, great hold. Second opportunity is going to be kicked out by Lee. Corvairs get changes. Davies stays on to attack. Watt. Up. Inzers. Tap pass for Glowacki. Glowacki for Papel at the end of his shift. Will work it in. Varga. Can't clear it. Glowacki holds it in. Sends it right back where it came from. Again, Glowacki holds his own. Going to let one fly this time. It hit a body to the corner. Steyer's a big hit on the near side. Here's Bandu working it down low. Takis centering pass out front. And it's going to be picked off back the other way. Quick snapshot on goal. Saved there by Gall. Steyers goes back up top. It's picked off. And Varga back at center. Tipped in by McNamara for Strauss. Strauss tried to give it back to McNamara, didn't get there. Joey Capel will bounce it wide of the Corvair goal. Kim LeMay back up top, and McCutcheon unable to hold his own as Christie back out at center. Brantford will finish off a change here as Frank will whack at it for McCutcheon. McCutcheon gets it in deep. Clark He'll chase in after it, but it's played around to the near side by Caledonia, and Osborne will work it out through the neutral zone. McCutcheon, McNamara all over him, but Ty McCutcheon's going to come away with the puck. He'll work it to the far side, and here comes Clark. Clark, drop pass, back for Frank. Frank back out front looking for McCutcheon, and no tip coming as it'll be knocked down now back the other way. Diving at it, and Caledonia unable to get it back into the zone. Great pace here at the end of this second period with 5 and change to go. Caledonia trying to slow it down. Throws it back. Held in there by Christie. Here's Frank. Quick all over him. Frank gets it back up top. Russell in the corner after it. He's in a battle with McCutcheon, who works it free. Caledonia's going to pull it out. Far side pass. Here they come. In, looking to tie the game to the backhand, and it's Gall again with a big save. As we get a whistle on the far side, Braden Hobson a chance to tie this game, but Gall, who's having a whale of a game here for Brantford tonight, once again denies. And we got a penalty coming. Looks like it's going to be on the Titans. Slashing is going to be the call. So Caledonia goes back to the power play. So it's Clark for slashing, and Caledonia looking to tie this game on the power play. Brantford able to clear it pretty much immediately. Here comes Lee into the zone. Lee tried a quick snapshot. That was off the body of Watton wide. They'll reset back in the zone. Lob shot coming through the point. Gall will steer it to the corner. Brantford trying to force that puck out of the zone. They do. Great effort by Tyler Clark. Tyler Clark going for a hit on the far side. Able to get by him is Butcher. Into the zone. Here's Kerr trying to go back out front. Butcher, low shot. It's in the back of the net, and they score. Caledonia's erased a 2-goal deficit, and we are back even in this one as they get a power play goal. Gage Butcher, last one to touch it. 2-2 here with 4 to go in the second. So a power play goal, that penalty proves costly for Brantford. Off the face-off, it's Buckman. Back for Christie. Christie skating through center. That'll be fired down the ice and icing on Caledonia. So a face-off inside the Corvairs zone.
Corvairs goal is 15th of the season, scored by Gage Butcher. Assisted by 23 Liam Kerr and number 66 Brody Lee. Butcher, Kerr and Lee on power play. The goal 15-58.
So a brand new hockey game here at the Gretzky Center. Loose puck up top. Buckman stepping up. Davies able to get it out at center as Gavin Christie will glide back. Christie's pass out at center. Nobody there. It'll be fired back in by the Corvairs. Christie will start out at center. Flipping it onto the far side. Kim LeMay back for Christie. Christie will circle it back up top for Buckman. Buckman drive out front, looking for a tip, but Wicklander stopped it instead. Couldn't get a shot off, and it's flipped back out at center. Chopped away from Quick. Loose puck, battle for it out front of the Titan goal. Here's Kim LeMay. Prowl Takes him off stride as Butcher back for it. It'll be flipped high down the ice. Race for it on the far side. And Clark comes back in to take it away from Quick. Braden Hobson was knocked down on his way. He's upset, thought there should have been a penalty, and Brantford is going to be offside. And now Quick's going to go after Wicklander. And now Osborne's going to mix it up down low with Christie. Christie can't afford another fight this season. Brantford nor can afford to lose him this season. And they'll settle things down momentarily with 2:30 to go in the second. As Hobson continues to have a chat with Clark. Faceoff will come just outside the offensive blue line. Crowell will play it up at center. Watt picks it off. Wicklander can't find it. That's McCutcheon, rather. He blows a tire trying to get it into the zone, and it's turned over. Here's Russell. Russell down the near side wing. Tight angle shot on Gall, and he will get the rebound before Russell can and hang on for a faceoff. Off the face-off. Played around. Frank will chop at it out through center. Picked up there by Clark. Here they come, a 2-on-1. Clark tried to drag around. He had McCutcheon with him. Couldn't get it. Clark's had all kinds of opportunities here in this game tonight. Now it's Frank down low. Frank in behind the Corvair goal. He'll work it around up top. Caleb Frank to the far side. Watt. That one on net. Gibbons the save, and he'll dive out and hang on. Faceoff comes to the left of Gibbons. $1:45 to go, and they're going to toss Clark. So Frank will have to come in and take it. Thrown up into the zone for Leet. Leet able to circle back and pick it up. He sits down Watt. Clark in his own zone. Takis comes back to swipe it away from out front of the net. Brantford can't clear it. De Silva sends it right back around. Watt. He battles with Leet on the far side. Back up top to the point. Here's Varga. He'll let one fly, and it's right to the catching mitt of James Gall for a faceoff. Faceoff coming to the right of Gall. Brantford will win it. Skip it. Trying to clear the zone. Steers able to hang on to it. Christie gets tied up there. Centering pass. And it's knocked down by Brantford. They'll get it out at center. Buckman gets across the red line and fires it in. Stippen chasing Quick. Quick. Tap pass. Osborne, far side. Hobson back out front. And he just missed. Buckman back the other way. Looking to lead Capel. No. Quick will fire it back in deep with 30 seconds to go. In behind the Brantford goal, Caledonia with 2 second period goals. Hobson going at it out front with Christie. The two of them having a heated conversation out front of the net. And they're going to take both of them as Hobson continuing from the last shift. And Christie will be separated and both sent off. So with 8.1 seconds, we'll play 4-on-4 here. The offsetting roughing calls, and we'll go 4-on-4 here to finish the remainder of this second and start the third. Face off, quick, back to the point. Varga, Caledonia looking for one last shot, and it was blocked out front by Glowacki. They'll send it around and out. 40 minutes in the books here, and we got a good one on our hands Thursday night. Caledonia answers 2 from Brantford in the first, with 2 of their own in the second. 2-2 game through 40. We'll step aside, and we'll be back for period number 3. Corvairs and Titans out at it 2. Welcome back inside the Gretzky Center. Alec Murray. Period 3, Caledonia, Brantford. Bets get set, twos across the board here. And 20 to play. 2 big points on the table for both of these teams. It's a 3-point gap between 6th and 8th. Brantford right now holding that 6th seed. Playoffs started today. It would be Brantford, Fort Erie first round. It would be Caledonia, Cambridge first round. Brantford had 2 goals in the first. Caledonia answered with 2 in the second. 4-on-4 here to start this third period is Bandu. He'll work wide down low. Bandu leaves it off. There's a quick shot on. Gibbons the save. Rebound, and he got that one too. Deep in his crease as Jacob Gibbons hangs on. Caledonia coming into this one after laying 9 on Welland in their last game. Out to face off. One back up top. Here comes a shot through. It was tipped high of the net. Brantford coming into this one. 3-2 loss in the shootout against Welland. And a tough weekend. Trying to right the ship here tonight on Thursday. Here's Russell on the far side. He'll work in with a shot, and it's off a stick, up and out of play. Cambridge, St. Catharines, Fort Erie, Pelham, and Port Colborne have all clinched a playoff spot. In the Eastern Conference, 3 spots remain and up for grabs. In the West, Elmira, Chatham, and St. Mary's have clinched. Everything else after that is a logjam in the Western Conference. As we're going to get a penalty called here. Holding's going to be the call. And it looks like Brantford's going to head to the power play, so it's going to be 4-on-3 as Brody Leite's going to be hauled off for 30 seconds here, so a great opportunity for Brantford. And Mark Corbett not a fan of that call. Off the face-off. Campbell Frank's got it on the near side. Frank gonna skate in. Back up top, Buckman. Near side looking for Stippen. He already has one tip tonight. 2-2. Here's Frank up top. High slot. Wobbling shot wide of the goal. Battle for it back down low, and Caledonia is gonna clear it. Here comes Clark back into the zone. Clark, trailer, up top, Frank. Back to 5-on-4 now for $120. Frank in behind the goal. Prow gives him a couple of whacks, but he gets it to the point. Skip pass near David Buckman. Buckman, a ton of ice, fires a shot. Save made by Gibbons. Loose puck in the slot, Clark. And it's going to be pulled out here by Braden Hobson. Hobson had Osborne coming in with him, couldn't get it to him. And Brantford with David Buckman back the other way. Buckman in onside. He'll throw it to the far corner. Stippen whacks at it. Up in the air, knocked down. Stiers can't clear it. 50 seconds to go in the power play. Here's Frank. Back for Buckman. Buckman on goal. Tipped a couple of times, and it's batted to the corner by Gibbons. Frank. 33-18 with the shots coming in. We got another penalty coming. This one's going to be on Brantford, and a hit in the corner. And once again, Connor Clark is going to be hauled off for a penalty. And that'll erase the Brantford power play. As not sure who it is down in the corner that's slow to get back up, but he still hasn't gotten to his feet. Looks like Ethan Osborne down in a heap for Caledonia. So we'll play 30 seconds of 4-on-4 and then an abbreviated power play for Caledonia as Clark pulled off. And still Osborne shaken up in the corner. Is the trainer out to take a look at him? Scoring summary in this one as we have a short delay now. He's up to his feet. Stippen and Frank, 12th and 21, respectively in the first period. Osborne's 24th, Gage Butcher's 15th. Answer, that's the goal scoring here so far. That is not a good sign for the Caledonia Corvairs as their captain holding that right shoulder, having to be helped off the ice. So we'll keep an eye on Osborne. Cross-checking is going to be the call, and we'll see if it's just a minor penalty. That's what it looks like it's going to be. So just a 2-minute penalty for cross-checking to Connor Clark. But Caledonia, their captain, down the tunnel. Cleared out and down the ice as Canalin's back for it. He'll work it up, back for him. Canalin to the far side, into the zone. Near side, Kerr rolls off the stick. Canalin can't get it back out front. It's off the body and down the ice. Stiers for Kerr, who tips it into the zone. Caledonia making changes here. Now onto the power play is a minute 20 to work with for the Corvairs as Quick and Hobson will hop over the boards. Russell out there to replace the injured Osborne on this top unit. Hobson tried to tip it to himself. Instead, Watt with a good play along the boards. And he'll play it back for Takis. Takis, high lob shot all the way down the ice. Varga there for Caledonia, and they'll start out with 50 ticks to go on the power play. Varga onto the far side, picked up there by Quick. The puck gets way too far ahead of him, and it's cleared again. Good penalty kill by Brantford here to start. 30 seconds for Caledonia to work with. Quick up on the left wing. He gets by Watt. Kim LeMay down in the corner. Strips him of the puck around to the far side. Hobson able to hold it in. Hobson goes down for Quick. Quick for Russell. Missed that pass. Watt going to be the first man on it. Can't loft it out of the zone. Here's Russell. Circling by the slot. Out of the far side for Quick. He'll dump it back for Russell. Here's Gallo in the slot. Couldn't pull the trigger. 10 seconds to go in the power play. Hobson to the far side. Varga plays it off the boards. He couldn't get it toward the net. Good job by Watt as he'll knock it down and play it around. Connor Clark out of the penalty box, but Hobson holds it in. Hobson into the slot. Loose puck. Quick couldn't get to it. And now Quick loses it. Here's Watt at center. Watt fires it in. Blocker save made there by Gibbons. Steyer's got to spin off. Inzer's all over him. It's played around to the near side. Here's Jake Russell. He'll go to the far boards, and Steyer's is out at center. He'll loft it high into the corner. David Buckman there to collect for Brantford. Buckman up for Capel. Capel starts it out on the far side for Stippen. Stippen's into the zone. Has Inzer's going to the goal. That one deflected wide. Kerr in a battle for it at center. Lost it. Return feed for Inzers. He'll dump it back in. Russell turns it over. Here's Capel off the post. What an opportunity that was, and Capel rings iron. Christie knocks it back in. 6 minutes gone here in the third period. Still 2-2. Papel lost it out of the zone to Kerr. Kerr up on the far side. Butcher. He took a spill, and Bandu will start back the other way. Inzers on the far wing. Louis Inzers to the backhand. Now the forehand try to jam it home. Back up top to the point. And that shot is blocked up and out through center. As Christian Glowacki and Isaac Bandu back for it in their own zone. Bandu up for Papel. Papel tips it up through center, but it's turned over. High cross check to the head area, no call. Brantford thought there should have been a call, and there should have been, as Papel went right after Strauss, and Strauss and Papel out front of the Caledonia bench. Strauss gave Papel a two-hander right under the mask, and the referees didn't catch it. And now Caledonia thinks there should be a call back the other way, and we'll see here what it is. Papel's heading to the penalty box, but the original call missed by the referees at center. So we'll see what the call is here, but it looks like it's going to be a Caledonia power play. Stippen and Tack is there with, good to see Osborne back out there for Caledonia after going off of that right shoulder, and Quick at center ice as well. And it looks like it's going to be a Caledonia power play, a 4-minute double minor on the board for Papel, and what a turn of events. And I can tell Brantford understandably frustrated. It should have been a high sticking call to the head area of Papel. The retaliation, they got him for a double minor. Big time moment here for the Corvairs. And you can see Stippen at center saying, hey, he got him right in the neck area. Refs didn't catch it. Face-off will be down in the Brantford zone. So they're going to change that. Now it's not going to be 4. It's going to be just 1. And Caledonia, now they're frustrated. They thought they had 4 minutes of power play time, and now it's only going to be 2. Hobson into the zone, out of the far side for Quick. He'll peel off. And Quick's going to set up, back of the blue line. Quick lets one fly, and getting a piece of it is goal. Brantford able to clear it down the ice. Caledonia with it back into the zone, trying to center that puck, and it's off a stick up and out of play. So all sorts of confusion here in this third period, but they do figure it out. It's only a 2-minute minor for roughing to Papel. Faceoff will be to the right of Gall. Win back Caledonia. Quick up top. Here's Hobson skating in, fires a shot. It's blocked by Watt, and he's able to clear it out at center. Russell and Osborne linger at center. Caledonia will reset. There's Ethan Quick in his own zone. Played off the boards and back down all over at Brantford, and Kim LeMay will throw it out. Varga back in his own zone, off the boards for Quick. 50 seconds to go on the power play. Here's Quick stepping in, drags and fires a shot just wide. Hobson back up at the blue line. Watt unable to clear it. Bouncing puck back to the point. Stiers off the boards for Quick. Return feed back to him. Caledonia set up with 30 seconds to go. Hobson slings it, rank wide. Quick into the slot. Good stick there by Takis. Quick back on it below the goal line. Off the boards for Hobson. Hobson, Chamberlain all over him, but can't get it out of the zone. Braden Hobson, centering pass off a skate on the goal line, loose puck. It's back up top. Stiers a drive, it was blocked. Kim LeMay got a piece of that one. 10 seconds to go on the power play. All Caledonia here. Osborne up top, too hot to handle for Hobson. His shot blocked by Watt. It's flipped up but not out. Held in by Hobson. Another drive. Blocker save made by Gall. And it's up and out of play right at the end of the power play. 11 and change to go in this one, and Brantford kills it off. Face-off coming to the left of Gall. Off the draw, it's going to be tied up. Buckman skips it to the near side. Christie up for Frank. He'll thread it there for Clark. Couldn't get it by the back end man. De Silva wires it in around to the far side. McCutcheon able to chip it out as Russell will play it back. Canavan fires it down the ice. That's going to be icing on Caledonia with 10:50 to go. 38-23, the shots on goal here, favoring Brantford. Rough start for Jacob Gibbons in net, but he's settled down since then. 8 games with Caledonia, .928 save percentage for Gibbons, so he's been steady. Face off, quick shot, never got to Gibbons. Gallo's got it in the corner. McCutcheon picks it off, centering pass out front. Oh, it was loose momentarily, and Clark just couldn't get a clean look. Clark pushed off stride in the corner. Brantford holds it in, and a shot blocked, and it's out and down the ice. Takis will glide back for it. No high stick on that play as Frank will touch up. Frank to Takis. Takis across the Titan logo. He's into the zone. He'll play it off the boards back for Frank. Frank into the slot. Here's Clark, a drive, and the save is made by Gibbons. Brought back out at center. Here comes Caledonia, return feed, looking for Davies, who was out front all alone, never got to him. And Brantford has a man in behind, and Inzers. Good play there by Crowell. Watt on the back end. Up for Frank. Frank for Inzers. Back for Inzers. And they're going to be offside, so they're going to have to touch up. Inzers will pull it out at center and drop it back. Glowacki picked off by Davies, and he'll flip it in deep. Pulled around to the near side. Here's Bandu. Bandu. McNamara all over him. Bandu still with it now and behind the Brantford goal, and he'll start out on the far side. Isaac Bandu will work it up at center. Past the midway point of this third period. Here's Bandu to the backhand. Good stick there by Varga. And it's going to be flipped to the far side. That puck will stay in play and bounce on through the neutral zone into the Brantford end. Ripped into the zone. Gall there to knock it down. Glowacki out of his own zone. Caledonia wholesale changes here. 9 minutes to play in the third. Tie 2-2 game as that one lofted from center right on Gibbons. And he's going to opt to hang on for an offensive zone faceoff for the Titans coming up in the Caledonia zone. That one's going to be fired down right on goal, so Gall and Butcher right there, so he's got to cover. Off the face-off, it's tied up. That one is going to be played off the mesh, it looked like, just above the glass. Came back into play, but the face-off will stay in the Brantford zone. Coming right down to the wire here in this one. 6-8 battle. We'll check the out-of-town scoreboard at our next stoppage in play. A couple big games going on, especially if you're Caledonia and Brantford right now in the standings. Again, that 8 spot, anywhere from 8 to 6 at this point, is up for grabs in the Eastern Conference. And the puck is up and out of play. And then Tyler Clark getting tied up down low. And this faceoff will come in the Caledonia zone. Out-of-town scoreboard. Let's take a look at it. 4-2 Cambridge over the Air Centennials. 6 minutes left to go in the third period of that one. As Kyler Morgan's got a pair for the Redhawks. 2-2 in Hamilton. Sailors and Kilty Bees tied. 5 minutes left to go in the third period there. As Ethan Arajano ties it up late. And Hamilton looking to upset Port Colborne. That's a big game. Hamilton in the 9th seed right now. 3-2 in Sarnia. The Nats up on the Legionnaires. They had a 3-0 lead. Sarnia has come all the way back. And looking to avoid 0-42 and looking to do it against a London team that beat St. Mary's last night. So interesting games right now across the Greater Ontario Hockey League. Into the zone. Here comes Brantford again as Oon tried to throw it on goal. That was denied. Caledonia with Quick. Back at the blue line. He's going to be an offside, but Brantford will curl it back at center. Here's Christie. Gavin Christie. Under 8 to play in the third period. Knocked off his stick. Oon's back at center. David Buckman. Buckman up here on the near side for Chamberlain. Chamberlain cutting in. No work in behind the back up top. Buckman going to load one up. It's tipped on goal. And there is Gibbons again to gobble it up. Face-off will be to the right of Gibbons. One back by the Corvairs. Varga. Fanned on the clearing attempt. Clark for McCutcheon. McCutcheon steps. Fires a shot right on. And again, Gibbons the save. Shot number 42 of the night for the Brantford Titans. Gibbons 39 saves here tonight. Frank can't find the puck in his skates. It's going to be picked up by Lee. Here's Lee steaming into the zone. His drive high over top of the net. De Silva gets crushed into the boards on the far side. Watt trying to dig it free. Frank will poke it out. And here's Connor Clark. Clark's been all over the ice here tonight. Frank, he's into the zone. Poked off his stick. Back up top to the point. It's held in by Takis, but it'll be cleared out eventually by De Silva. Watt with it at center. Anybody's game here late in the third period. Frank can't come up with it. Lee trying to stick handle his way through. Here's Brody Lee for Watt, who picked it up in his own zone. He'll work it for Takis. In onto the far side. Takis works it in. Frank right behind him. Caleb Frank tied up by Russell. Able to get it back in behind the Caledonia net. Russell pokes it. Frank has it. Far dot. Up top. Head Takis. The pass not clean though. Back for Frank, who teed it up. And he fanned on it. McCutcheon cycles it back in for Frank. His shot. And it's up over top of the net. And well high with 6:07 to go. Face-off win. Christie. He'll walk around to the near side. Gavin Christie centering pass, and Wicklander, it went right through him. Brantford pressing hard. Here's Christie in the slot. It's tipped wide. Battle for it out front. Kim LeMay. Gonna just send it to the corner. Clark back for Kim LeMay. Kim LeMay for Wicklander. Wicklander to the point. Christie. Stutter steps. Gets rid of Strauss. Off to the far side. Here comes a shot just wide. Buckman almost. And it's all the way around and out. Buckman back up for Kim LeMay. He's back into the zone. Quentin Kim LeMay out front. It's tipped. Oh, what a save by Gibbons. Point blank out front. Robs Wicklander. And he keeps it tied at 2. Varga gonna flip it back in. Much needed Caledonia change. Picked up there by Wicklander. Wicklander rink wide for Tyler Clark. Clark in, getting hooked up on the way to the goal, Inzers. Varga's got it in the near side corner, under 5 to play. Flipped out at center, knocked down on the back end by Glowacki. Stiers in after it, but Varga will take over. Varga, rink wide at center, hits Butcher. Gage Butcher, nifty move to the backhand, couldn't get a clean look off. Here's Caledonia's turn up top, in the slot all alone, Hobson to the backhand, he sent it just wide. Great A scoring chance for Brayden Hobson, and he could not poke it over the pad, a goal. The pace has picked up significantly here in this third period as icing is called on Brantford. So here's how it shakes out in the Eastern Conference. 36 points for Brantford, 33 for Ayr, 33 for Caledonia. That's the 6 through 8. Hamilton has 29. They're going to head to overtime against Port Colborne, it's looking like, so they're going to get one more. So they're now within 3 of that final playoff spot. You can pretty much eliminate Welland and Caledon. So it's a 4-team race for 3 spots in the Eastern Conference. Hobson will chip it up at center quick. Bobbling puck. Now he'll knife it to the near side. Here's Hobson. And a shot! And a glove save made by James Gall. For the parity, we'll go through the Western Conference too, and it's a much more of a big mess. 6 seed Waterloo's got 46 points. 9 seed Strathroy has 41. So there you go, 5 points separating them. Listowel still in it with 36 as well, so a 5-team race over the Western Conference for 3 spots. Loose puck gonna go down to the far side, Capel. Couldn't get to it, it's Hobson. His pass is stopped up at center. Trying to work it in to Stippen. Instead, it's Inzers. Inzers, quick shot right on, and Gibbons is going to hang on. Off the face-off, it's Christie, stripped to the puck. Gallo can't clear it. Look out, he turns it over out front. Papel, loose puck. He's got it for Chamberlain, a shot. Kicked out there by Gibbons. Another one on goal, he's tipped just wide. Mulholland rips it into the far side. De Silva settles it down. He's got Leet parked out front. De Silva now to his offhand in the corner, gets it back up top to the point. That one through. Look out, back out front on Gall. He's going to swipe it aside, and now he's going to play it safe as he is able to lunge out of the net. And cover with under 3 to play here in the third. So Hamilton is up to 30 points with the overtime here against Port Colborne. If they win, they get up to 31. And if Caledonia drops this one in the next 3 minutes, buckle up. Face-off win, back to the point. Cycled down low, Leeds got it in the corner. Takis, De Silva coming in there as well to help out. Nathan De Silva able to free it up. He'll knife it back down low for Brody Lee. Lee taken in hard there by Alan Watt. He's got 2 Corvairs now tied up in the corner. And here come the Titans back the other way. Clark leading the charge with Frank. He's got McCutcheon with him. Drop pass, Takis. Look at the lane. Oh, he hit the crossbar. Takis that close to giving Brantford a late lead in the third period. What a play into the zone. Now here's Butcher. He gets sat down by Caleb Frank. Another one on goal. Call the save. Look out, centering pass. It's through everybody and all the way back out at center. Oh, boy. End-to-end action here as Varga will send it in. Watt plays it off. McCutcheon kicks it back out front. Look out. as Gull will quietly play it for his defenseman, Watt. Back up is Clark. He can't poke it by Russell. Sent back in. Clark able to knife it back, but it's picked up by Russell. He'll fire it back in. There's Gull. Gull looking around. He'll fire it around the boards. Not out. McCutcheon able to clear that puck at center. 1:30 to go here in the third period. Trying to knock it down out front is Buckman. Up for McCutcheon. McCutcheon avoids a hit. He's after it now. Kim LeMay steaming into the zone. Hobson, little drop feed. Here's Osborne at center. Osborne will send it in. Gull thought about it. Now opts to leave it. Osborne looking to center it. Bouncing puck settled down by Kerr. Centering pass out front. And it's picked off by Kim LeMay. Last minute to go here in the third period. Looking for a heartbreaker. Or we go to overtime. Buckman for Clark. Into the zone onside. Stiers has it for Caledonia. He'll play it in behind the net. Hobson gonna loft it to the far side. Bouncing puck. Osborne back up top looking for Quick. That couldn't reach him. And Kim LeMay's back with 30 seconds. Varga on it in his own zone, plays it up and out. Osborne tied up out front of the Brantford bench. He gets a bump there from Clark. Glowacki in his own zone. Here's Wicklander with 15 seconds. He'll sift it down into the Caledonia end. And they're going to call that icing on Brantford with 11.7 to go in the third period and a 2-2 hockey game between Caledonia and the Titans. Faceoff will come to the left of James Gall. Quick loses the faceoff, and Bandu is just going to fire it right back down the ice. And it's going to be icing with 5.3 now. And now you wonder if Mark Corbett is going to leave. Probably still too much time on the clock to take Gibbons with a face-off pin down in the Brantford zone. They added some time now, definitely too much time for Gibbons. 6.1 in a face-off to the left of goal. Again, Brantford able to win the draw and get it back out at center. Here's Kim LeMay, maybe one more chance. Rolls ahead of him. And we are gone overtime here in Brantford. We will step aside momentarily as these two teams secure at least 1 point and a big one up for grabs. 3-on-3 overtime is coming up next here from the Gretzky Center. All right, welcome back inside the Gretzky Center. Here we go. 7 minutes of 3-on-3 overtime is coming up. 2 goals in the first for Brantford, 2 in the second for Caledonia. Zip. 0 zilch in the third from either team, and here we go. 1 massive point up for grabs in the Eastern Conference standings. Underway here in overtime is Caledonia. Varga will start with it in his zone. Shots on goal, 45-27 in favor of the Brantford Titans. Here's Lee, but he's offside is Varga. A little too anxious at the blue line. It has been Jacob Gibbons' night here in Brantford tonight. Again, a tough start. 2 goals in 33 seconds for the Titans in the first period. Since then, nothing. He has been perfect in goal for the Corvairs. In the other end, James Gall. Some massive saves for Brantford to keep them in this one. Go back to that first period save with the glove in a scoreless hockey game. And a couple big ones in the third. Takis skips it into the zone. Got Kim LeMay. Quick shot. Rebound is near side. Gibbons out of the net, and he couldn't get back in. Here's Kim LeMay, able to settle it down now, and Kim LeMay is going to pull it out at center. What an opportunity. First opportunity of the period goes to Brantford. Caleb Frank back into the zone, cutting wide to the backhand. He's hauled down. Loose puck out front. And here comes Caledonia back the other way. Frank lodged in behind the play. Lee on the far side, stops up. Trying to dish back for Gallo. Good stick there from Kim LeMay. My goodness, 2 chances for Brantford with Gibbons out of position. And they just couldn't get a stick on it. Quick's got it in the neutral zone. He'll pull it back. Here goes Quick at center. He'll stop up high slot. Didn't like what he sees. He's going to turn back at the point. Quick holds. Still has it. Back up top to the blue line. Candlin. Drive goes wide of the net. And Candlin's going to skate it back out at center. Leave it for Osborne. Osborne's got to peel off with Frank right there. Frank out there with Buckman and Kim LeMay still. Here comes Osborne into the zone. Quick shot blocked out front. Loose puck is going to be poked aside by Kim LeMay. Caledonia getting changes. There's Hobson onto the ice and Russell. Here's David Buckman. Back up top for Frank. Caleb Frank into the corner. Still stuck on the ice, and now it's Caledonia who are pulling it out at center. It's Russell. Russell's got Hobson with him. Russell plays it in behind the net. He'll chase after it. Spinning around at center. Frank's been out there for 2.5 minutes, finally able to get a change off. Here's Inzers. Inzers back up top for Wicklander. They'll play it back up and out at center is Osborne, and now Christie will take over back in his own zone. Stiers and Hobson, now Butcher out there for Caledonia. Christie gets by Hobson. Here's Christie, ice opening up on the near side. Christie in! What a save by Gibbons! He planted that right pad down and did not allow Christie to jam it in. Inzers with good speed. His shot turned aside by Gibbons. Wicklander on the half wall. 3:30 to go in the overtime period. Leaves for Inzers. Inzers, Christie wide open on the far side. Back across. Oh, he's got to shoot that puck. Christie opted to pass back across, and Brantford doesn't even get a shot. Sometimes you got to be selfish. That was one of those moments for Gavin Christie. Battle for it down low now. Caledonia with it in the zone. Pass is going to be picked off, and here goes Buckman. Buckman has Wicklander with him. Buckman to Wicklander, just high. Oh, he knifed it over top of the crossbar. Varga now gets tied up. He turns the puck over, takes his man down to the ice. Play continues. Clark Whack on the far side, letting everything slide here in this overtime. It's opening up. Here's Buckman. Buckman, he scores! David Buckman, overtime winner. Brantford gets the extra point in the extra frame and now sit 4 points ahead of Caledonia in the 6th seed. And it's the young Bulldog, David Buckman, who plays hero here on a special night in Brantford. The chances and the opportunities were coming for Brantford. Jacob Gibbons stood in the way. He made 45 saves tonight. It was not enough as David Buckman nets the overtime winner, and the Titans, although they do give Caledonia a point, they get the extra one and the biggest maybe win of the season for Brantford. So the Titans knock off Caledonia in overtime at 3-2 the final score. We'll sign off here from the Gretzky Center as Brantford wins this one 3-2. David Buckman, your hero, as Brantford stays and remains in that 6th seed. For everybody here in Brantford, I'm Alec Murray. Thanks for joining us, and cheers from the Gretzky Center.